Cassette tapes have made a comeback. Cassette tapes came out in the early 70s, and the major record labels quit releasing cassette tapes in 2003. But in recent years, probably in the past 3 or 4 years, record companies have decided to re-release older titles, popular titles like classic rock, rap, stuff like that, and also make new tapes for movie soundtracks. Indie bands are putting their albums on cassette tape now. And me making this video is also gonna give me a chance to show a few tapes that I have not shown in a pickups video. The Nine Inch Nails tape I did mean to show in a pickups video, and I will, and I'll talk about it in full on that particular video. I also have a new tape that was made this year by a pretty well-known heavy metal band, thrash band, whatever you want to call it. So the fact that these tapes are being made in limited quantities kind of makes them collectible, and as of now, according to this company's video on YouTube, they are the only company that is producing cassette tapes in the US, and that company is National Audio Company out of Springfield, Missouri. So due to the high demand for many titles, for cassette tapes, many titles are on back order, and I'll put a link to the website I use to pick up these tapes, a few new tapes. They're not, I can't show them right now since they are on back order. Just another example of some rock tapes. But the National Audio Company has made the Star Wars Force Awakens soundtrack on cassette, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy, rap music, hip-hop, classical music, and rock and classic rock. So that's pretty cool. Of course, most people know this Mad Season tape is quite old, more than likely an original 1995 release. Picked this up after I got the CD, but anyways, this is a new tape made this year. Just picked it up not too long ago, or it came in the mail. Really cool. It's the band Gruesome, Twisted Prayers. I just think it's really cool that companies have started making these again, releasing them, but they're in very limited quantities, especially from the indie bands or bands that are not on a major label. And they're coming out in like colors like green, blue, like translucent blue, red, clear red. So that's really neat. I don't think that we saw a lot of that in the 90s, like colored cassette tapes like that, like the see-through ones. All you really had was like the clear, black, grays, whites. So this makes them a little bit more special. Excuse me. Funny, I've not been able to find this entire album on cassette. I found another copy of this this exact tape, part 2, at a record store in Arizona when I went a few months ago. So I don't know if I'll ever find that, but anyways, here's an example of those clear cassette tapes. And then you got your black. I don't think I have a white, and I have a gray somewhere. Yeah, I do have a white one. But a lot of these ones, cassettes I have are old. I mean, there's only a few that are newer from the, let's see here, late 90s. I don't think I have any from 2000. Probably the oldest one I have is a gray one. Paul McCartney's Band on the Run. That's the gray, example of gray. think the rest are clear. None are. Not very many more are. And these actually do sound pretty good. You just have to have a good to decent player, which I don't. So my tapes just don't sound that great. Maybe someday I'll invest in a better player. So just know, if you're gonna buy cassettes, there's many different outlets online, or stores online to buy from. I'll just link the company that I ordered these cassettes from, and maybe a few other sites. I mean, there's a lot to where you can order new and old cassettes, cassette box sets. There's like just anything you can think of is on cassette. Instructional programs on cassette. Every genre of music. Religious speakers on cassette. Just all kinds of great stuff. And a lot of people like cassettes for those instructional type thing, since they're easy to listen to. And as most know, cassettes are an analog format, so the music is going to sound a little bit better. I don't know what the record labels are using for masters these days for cassettes. I don't know if it's just a digital file put to tape, or if it is an old they're using old masters for these re-releases of older titles. We'll have to see, and I'll figure that out once I get these 2 titles in the mail whenever they become available. And maybe I'll order some more, because this really is a neat format, and it's really cool, and that's been near and dear to my heart since the 90s, as well as CDs. I mean, records I just got into in 2006, but yeah, that's for another video. What's the other thing about this? The artwork, it's unique to each cassette, and sometimes the artwork is different than any other release. If that particular album has been released on other formats, and that's sometimes not the case, even with these new releases as well. They only put the album out on one format, all it be, CD, cassette, or vinyl, or just MP3. So, but that's another really neat thing about the cassettes. And I will do a full review of this album on CD and cassette. That will probably be lumped into one video. I think that's really all I can say about cassettes. So, just gonna have to, if you haven't listened to a cassette, listen to one for yourself. And that's really it, guys. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.